So here are a few of the significant changes that we will discuss. The big one here is that now CFRA applies to employers with 5 or more employees across the state of California, not just 5 employees within the 75-mile radius or anywhere where the employee who's requesting leave works. But if you have 5 employees anywhere in the state of California, you will now be covered by CFRA. The leave for, actually, I'll go here. Okay, expanded definition of family member. We discussed that. Family employees may take leave to care, of course, if they have their own serious health condition or they have a serious health condition of a family member whose care the employee may use leave for, now is expanded beyond just immediate family members and will also include an adult child over 18 years old, the child of a domestic partner, and as I mentioned, grandparents, grandchildren, and also siblings. There is also a leave for qualifying exigency related to covered active duty. So the employee can also use CFRA for the employee's active duty or call to active duty of the employee's spouse, domestic partner, child, or parent who is in the U.S. Armed Forces. The other expansion is that now both employee parents are entitled to the full 12 weeks of each of baby bonding leave. So that means that an employer must now grant both parents of a child up to 12 weeks of leave for each parent for the birth, adoption, or foster care placement of a child. So that means if an employer has both parents as employees, rather than the current rule of, the combination of 12 weeks of job protected leave for between the two parents, now each parent is entitled to their own 12 weeks of leave. Okay, for an employee to be a covered employee under the new CFRA rules, the employee must have worked for the employer for at least 12 months and worked at least 1,250 hours in the 12-month period prior to taking CFRA leave. The amount of leave that the employee is entitled to is up to 12 weeks of unpaid protected leave during a 12-month period. The leave may be used in increments. So that means that an employer has to not just provide the leave, but also keep track and keep good records of the amount of time that is being taken. So that is an administrative issue that employers are going to have to deal with, is finding a way and having the appropriate programs to keep track of the amount of leave that the employee has taken. The leave is provided in addition to other leaves available to the employee under California law, such as pregnancy disability leave, workers' compensation leave, and paid sick leave. Other requirements of the new CFRA expansion is that the leave may be taken to bond with a new child of the employee or to care for the employee themselves or a child, parent, grandparent, grandchild, sibling, spouse, or domestic partner. So as you can see, the categories have expanded significantly. So that means that employers who may currently already be subject to CFRA and has a policy in their employee handbook will now have to update that policy to include the leave taken to care for this expanded category of family members. Also, the employer must continue health insurance benefits for the employee while the employee is out on leave, as if the employee was continuously employed during the leave period. Once the leave is exhausted, the employer must reinstate an employee who is returning from leave to the same or a comparable position. And the statute specifically says that leave is not considered to have been granted if the employer does not guarantee that the employee will be able to return to the same or comparable position. So that means that employers, even those who are currently subject to CFRA, but I think a lot of it will be for all the smaller businesses who never had to deal with this issue before, you have to get ready. Use this time at the end of the year to get your policies in order, know the rules and the requirements before it becomes effective on January 1st of next year. Reach out to council, update your employee handbook to include or to revise your current CFRA policy. And lastly, engage in training. Train your supervisory employees and also your human resources professionals on how to deal with leave requests, on the documentation that is required, having the forms available, and getting the word out to the employees that they are now entitled to this leave, and this is how they should request for leave. Understand the deadlines related to the leave and also in tracking the leave. So use this time wisely. We have some time, and that's really why I wanted to get this information out to people, is so that you all have the time to prepare and get everything ready before the law goes into effect on January 1st, 2021.